Joe, Gage, Max, and Joe. Gage, Max, Joe, Gage, Max, and Joe. YouTube live show with Gage, Max, and Joe. Never fired up and ready to go. Gage, Max, and Joe. Gage, Max, Joe, Gage, Max, and Joe. Gage, Max, Joe, Gage, Max, and Joe. YouTube live show with Gage, Max, and Joe. Never fired up and ready to go. Gage, Max, and Joe.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Out of System here. You have Joe and Gage Worsley joining you here. Later on the show, we're going to have Dana Rettke, all-star middle for the U.S. national team and going to her senior year of Wisconsin. But for right now, you're stuck with us. And I saw you guys, I'm sure you guys saw on Monday, you saw the musical Monday with Max, speaking about how he never talks at the show. He is again not joining us today because he did win the Illinois State hot dog eating competition, but now he's on the hamburgers. So he's currently
bigger and better things.
Of course. But again, bigger, better stuff. But so you're just stuck with us two for right now, and let's get rolling here, Joe. We kind of want to talk about what's it like on a travel trip when it comes to professional and then when it comes to college. I'll let you start. You go with pro first.
Yeah, no, this is another segment of keeping it real. We've done these before. The road trips, we always get asked because fans for whether it's club, college, they don't really get to see what happens on road trips, and they're always really interested in that type of stuff and behind the scenes. And we're going to be shooting some stuff in our seasons to make sure that you guys get to see that and you get to see the behind the scenes footage of what trips look like. But it's the trips are very well planned. I think we're both fortunate right now. I'm at a club and I'll be at a club again. I can't say yet. We have really good travel agents. They take care of everything. Everything's like super well planned. We have a team bus. So overseas, a lot of times we'll practice in the morning and then we'll leave on the bus and we'll go on like 10 to 12 hour bus trips. But the actual bus trip is we get these like padded beds almost, and you lay down on these, and the tall guys will get kind of a whole row, but I usually share with our team physio. So it's me and the team physio, and
Is that because you're smaller?
she's small. Yeah, I'm one of the smaller ones. And I was the young one. That's another one that people don't realize. The young ones always kind of get stuck, low man on the totem pole. I was in charge of the balls, that type of things. Same thing happens in the universities. But for me, I was always on the pad. I was sharing with our physio. So we'd be like stacking our legs up, talking to each other, sleeping the entire bus ride. I had Netflix going. Now I'm in grad school. I don't know. I don't think I've said that before, but I started grad school. So during the year, I'm going to be doing grad school and all my papers on the bus ride. And so you're sleeping and it's really tight quarters and you have one restroom in the middle of the bus. And I was the only one throughout the year to use that. No one else is ever using the restroom. So I was always going there. When you have all these guys laying across, then I'm having to jump all these like 6'10" guys and I'm like jumping over these seats to get to the restroom. And
You said
the trips were all pretty decent, but for me, the hardest thing was always like diet and being able, because when you go on trips with volleyball, you're not traveling like these football or these basketball teams. You don't travel with nutritionists and chefs and stuff. So whether you're like in the middle of a long bus ride and you're stopping at like a gas station where you're having to pay to go to the restroom, and then they have like fast food, you have to find something that you can use.
Do the people who plan the meals, are they generally healthy or is it just kind of free for all?
Yeah, I mean, no, they try their best to make it healthy. But when you go to hotels, so a lot of times we eat in the lobby of the hotel and all the meals are served there. But it's hard for those people because they don't know what's in the kitchen and stuff, but they can try their best to make sure that it helps our performance. But at the end of the day, like it is tough for us when we travel to be able to stay on a strict diet or whatever.
Yeah, that's one thing I kind of noticed from you guys coming back, from all my ex-teammates and my brother included in that, is that the bus rides, like for us, it's not really long bus rides. We fly there. Let's get into a little college. What's it like in a college? Hawaii is different than most schools because obviously we're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. We're very, very stranded and we can't drive to our games. If you're a UC school, which is where most of the volleyball community is, if you're or in the East Coast or whatever, typically you're driving, taking a bus, right? Let's say you have school on some schools have the luxury of playing on Thursday while still going to school. They would take a bus, they just go down there at night and then they come right back that night. Not for Hawaii. Hawaii is, for every away game, is at least 4 or 5 days away. At least I've gone up to this week. This year was the longest I've been up. No, last year we went 2 full weeks of mixing school in the middle of school. I loved it. Don't get me wrong. So what happens is we have to really plan out. So we have obviously travel letters you have to get through, and Joshua Walker, Milan also helps with this. He plans out the itinerary. He sends the itinerary a couple days before. You have 14 guys on travel roster when you have like 20-some guys on the full roster. And then we take a plane, right? And it's cool in the airport. You're on UHQ. Everyone's like, yeah, they love you. They love you. And then we get there. And then typically what happens, like I said, the UC schools get buses. But as you know, we kind of get vans. So there's like 4 or 5 vans, 3 to 4 players per van. That means our trainer's driving it. I think our manager was driving a van. That means, and all 3 of our coaches. So maybe it was just not. Maybe our manager wasn't driving. And so you're in a group of 4, and they're given to you by coaches, so you don't choose your own van. And I don't know if do you think they do that like on purpose, like choose the people on purpose, like this
Probably.
guy maybe needs to get along with this guy. These guys need to get separated.
Yeah.
And occasionally the coach, that happened with me and Patrick one time. The coaches Charlie got kind of mad. He got annoyed with Patrick and I. So just switched he switched everything.
Kicked him out of the van.
Kicked us out of the van, switched vans. But other than that, it's been pretty smooth sailing. What happens is, like I said, everyone usually uses the bus. We have the vans. And so we get there usually about 2 days earlier before a game. We get rested. Sometimes we're coming in late at night, and then we wake up early the next morning. We have study hall. We go. We have practice. When we come back, we get rested. The day of the game, we're just all kind of chilling. A lot of the stuff that people don't talk about in the pro league as well is just the chillaxing time. There's a lot of, for us, it's on the road. At home, it's not as much.
Well, the thing is with pro, so when you're a pro, you have a responsibility to take care of yourself, but you're also given a little more freedom. So at the end of road trips, if you have like the next day or 2 off, like you're allowed to just stay in the city and meet the team back home the next couple of days later. Or you can, at times there was guys who would just get themselves there because they had other plans. You still are responsible to be at every practice and every game, obviously, but you're not like in university where you're restricted. You're only allowed to be released after you're done playing with your biological parents. And if they're not there, then you're not allowed to be released anyway. But pro, like, you're free to kind of like during the days, you're allowed to go off. In college, you're not released to go off as much. But it's still a luxury for sure. Like the professional lifestyle, you're being paid to play, so they expect you to take care of yourself and behave and act like that. But you also get a little more freedom in that same rate and that same kind of frame.
One thing they do actually really, really well in Hawaii is they plan it. They make sure we get back midday on, let's say we get back on a Sunday, so a weekend. We never come back on a weekday of school. Very rare. I've never had that. But let's do it midday, so we're kind of well rested. And the next day you're in class, and then you could next week you'd be on the road again. Like I said,
I would say the biggest mistake that you see on the college side that kids make is they just save all their schoolwork for the trip. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this on the road trip. I learned my freshman year, I ain't doing anything on the road trip. So I try to get everything done on the front end. And then if I have left over, I'll do it at the end. But when I'm on the road trip, my mind's always on volleyball. That's why I like road trips. I think college coaches, you hear a lot of times it's when their team goes on the road, there's some coaches, I know Charlie's really open. He's super pumped when they go on the road because he knows everybody's just dialed in on volleyball. But there's some coaches who get kind of worried because their team culture, whatever the reason is, they're worried they're going to go get distracted. They have other things going on. And road trips can be really catastrophic at times if something goes up. And say like at the end, this happens all the time with teams you hear about. Is like at the end they play and then they go off and party after. And that's something that happens a lot in college athletics.
Yeah.
And so if that's a big issue with the team, then coaches are always worried when they go on road trips. And I think when coaches get into having to do bed checks and they're always monitoring what's going on, like that, you lose trust with the team because then the team's going to try to start sneaking around and they're not going to be as into the matches because they're just pissed off with the kind of the culture on the team really suffers at times. And road trips really for the top teams and the teams who are at the top of the rankings, usually they're not an issue at all because those guys understand how important those road trip matches are. But it can be catastrophic for those kind of mid-range lower teams who might be out of playoffs by that time of season or they're just not that into it. Coaches at times I know for sure can get worried.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, it comes back to team culture. So that's the biggest part. If you have a culture, we've explained in past videos about how to create a good team culture. And as Joe said earlier, we're going to give you guys, once the season starts, get ready. It's not just going to be a us talking in front of the mic, talking about it. You guys can actually see it. We're going to take you guys behind the scenes and a lot of stuff. So make sure you stay tuned because there's a lot of like cool videos kind of coming your way. So you can kind of brighten your eyes to stuff that's usually not shown. You don't really see it very often. So we're going to try and give that to you guys. But on to the guests here. We have Dana Rettke, like I said, national team middle. Let's get her on here. Let's talk cheese curds. Let's talk Wisconsin. Let's do it. All righty, we're joined here by Dana Rettke, Big Ten Female Player of the Year, national team member, and just an all-around stud. Dana, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Well, first off, you were told us that you were training. Are you currently in Madison right now, or are you back in Illinois? Where are you at?
Yeah, so we actually just got let back onto campus. Right now, it's like kind of a weird environment just because like we're allowed to lift. So we kind of like go through like a whole like screening stage like in the mornings, and we're able to use our weight room. But like we play in the field house in Wisconsin, so that's still closed. So we've been like kind of playing on the beach and stuff like that. But I mean, baby steps at this point. So at least we're kind of back together and working out together. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on.
So do you guys have to wear a mask when you're in the weight room? Because I mean, I'm not in Hawaii yet, but I know when we get there, I think we have to wear a mask in the weight room.
Yeah, so we don't have to wear a mask like when we lift. We have like a little 6x6 box, and like you can't really leave your box. But like when you're walking like in and when you're walking in and out like anywhere in the facilities, you do have to be wearing a mask. So
yeah. And so one last question about this, but I saw on Instagram that the U.S. Women's National Team, they were training in it was an A4. I don't know if you had any insight on that. They were training like A4 or something academy down south. Do you know where that is?
I honestly have no idea. I like haven't really been in a lot of contact with them just because like it is kind of a crazy summer and I still have one more year in college. So last time I heard that I don't think they're training in small groups. I don't know if they're doing that on the men's side as well, but yeah, I think they're doing like small group training like up to like 9 or 10, something like that. But that's the latest I've heard.
Okay.
Right on. Maybe legal, maybe illegal. Underground gyms. So you're from Riverside, Illinois. So relative to where our geography is really bad, relative to Chicago, where is that?
I am like, if you are looking at Chicago on a map, I am 15 minutes like directly west.
Oh, dang. So how far is that from Madison? That's like 4 hours, yeah?
No, it's actually like 2 hours, 15 minutes.
Yeah, we're really good with that. That's sweet.
Yeah, it's nice.
So have they told you guys what your schedule will look like? Do you have any kind of idea what that's going to look like for the fall yet?
Yeah, so we actually, we have a tentative schedule right now that's not released, but we have a schedule for the fall, which is really exciting. Nothing can be set in stone right now. I know that like things are changing on like an hourly basis right now.
Right.
So, but yes, we do have a schedule as of right now. So that's really exciting for us.
So I know that Big Ten, you guys get, I don't know if it's every away game, but some away games, you guys get chartered flights. Is that still up in the air? What's the verdict on that?
Yeah, we're actually very fortunate as a team. Like we are able to charter almost everywhere in season, which we're super, super thankful for that. But I know people's like salaries are getting cut, budgets are getting cut. So I don't know about the chartering.
But we're keeping the charter planes.
That'd be like the first thing I think of, like, oh, the charters.
Yeah. But honestly, like it's totally fine. We're just going to be happy to play. So we're not going to be picky this year.
No, I get it. It's just like the closest thing that I've ever been to a chartered plane or chartered with my team is like like one of those like RVs, like those little RVs that they take us to get to like a game. It's not even like,
right, yeah.
So when I hear I'm like, oh, Big Ten, I was like, dang, that's so
we are very fortunate.
Have you played middle all your life?
Like yes and no. So my 17s club year, I actually was an outside. I played 6 rotations and I passed.
How successfully?
So I had my 1/4, my libero had the 3/4, and the ball came to me. I dimed it every single time. No, so we played as 3 middle offense. In my 17 years. So it's like you have like one middle like all time, and then you have another middle who's also a right side. I think it's right side for either 1 or 2 rotations. And then I was middle for 1 rotation, outside for 2 rotations. So that was really fun. It was definitely like a different like feel. And then I also played outside in high school. So, you know, I kind of pride myself in being able to have a little bit of ball control as a middle.
Are you one of the middles that loves to set? Because every middle I've ever played with always just wants to set. I'm like, how do you guys want to hit?
Put me in the back row. I'm ready for it. Like, put me anywhere else but middle, and I will be like the happiest person. No, I'm just kidding. But no, yeah, like I love setting. I love hitting. There's like some times when my setter and I, Sydney Hilly, will go into the gym, and like I'll either be doing eye work off of her, or she'll be hitting off of me, and then we'll kind of like switch roles for a little bit, and she'll like teach me how to do like her little spin sets and stuff. So I've gotten pretty good at those. I'm not gonna lie.
You know, I think the more I think about it, the more I realize I think Joe likes playing with the middles who set, because then Joe loves to run people over and just like push him over. If there's like a middle in the way, he loves to like drop his shoulder. So he's like, if he ever has any like pent up anger and he sees like a middle, he just drills him.
For you though, what is
Middles always just seem to be in the way.
Yeah, setters are a little
not the
biased.
good ones though. I mean, not the best.
with that answer. But for you, so you obviously we said earlier you were VNL champ last summer, and so you've gone back and forth national team, international play. You played against some of the top players in the world, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
What is the biggest difference for you as a middle when you go between the two different, both collegiate and international levels?
I just think the biggest difference is the speed of the game. I mean, Luca is our middles coach over at USA, and he was just on me like all the time because your eye work has to be so good at the international level. You just have to find the tiniest little things that you can read the other setter, just to make a move. You really have to like see. You have to see what's going to happen before it actually happens. So I think that was honestly the biggest adjustment. But then coming back to college, like I just think that's something that like I've really focused on and have gotten a lot better at. So that was probably the biggest difference for me. Just I know like my first couple of weeks in the USA gym, the way our offense in the USA gym is super, super fast. So I was late to a lot of things, but I definitely got better as our summer went on. So yeah.
Who was the most difficult setter you've played against, pro or college, to be able to read?
I'm trying to think. So, okay, I did not play against this setter, but we watched a bunch of film on her just because she was so good. The setter from Poland. I'm not going to.
Yeah. I'm trying to
percent like remember her name, but like wow, like she was like as neutral as it gets. Like she was I watched a couple of her games. She played for Amoko this past year, and so did Chiaka, who's one of the middles in the USA gym. So I watched her often, and just the way she just like the tempo on that team was unbelievable. So yeah, I personally didn't get to play against her, but I was at the match where we played them, and I was like scouting them, so I was just blown away by her.
Like I'm glad I'm not having a block against that.
This is the thing that I kind of I guess observed and kind of saw, especially in the middle position. I feel like once you get to like the higher levels, like professional or like VNL, top of the top, like sometimes like footwork and everything just kind of goes out the door, and you're just running, and you're just. I mean, it may look. I mean, you could correct me, maybe correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're kind of right. So like. In college, obviously, we try to teach like very, very clean footwork, and I think we try to teach that like anywhere. But I went to the USA gym. I think the first week, like I was really frustrated with myself because I had to do kind of I don't know what the exact technical term is. I call it like kind of a cross two, so it's just like a 1-2 jump and like kind of float. I had to do that almost every single set, and I was like, why can't I just do like a normal swing block? Like I went to Luca. I was like, I don't know why I can't do like a 3-step block. He's like, why you're getting there? Like, don't worry about it. I was like, oh, that's different. Okay, yeah, I'm fine. So, yeah, I think just like that's why your eye work just has to be so good because like you have to be so fast. And who do we play against that ran a super? Japan's one of those teams that runs a really fast offense. They're like a shorter team, but like they just like shoot the ball to the outside. So you really just kind of have to get there and get your hands in good positions. That's probably the most important.
Yeah, that's one thing I kind of realized. Or it's like people think, okay, once you get to the high levels, and again, I'm not quite there yet or anything, but stuff I've witnessed is you think like, okay, once you get to a higher level, every ball is like all guys can like or girls can like pass perfectly or right there. But it's really like I'm trying to find the word for it, but like not the room for error is smaller when it comes like the
Oh.
easier balls. You need to make sure you get
Right.
those because you
Yeah.
get those very, very few times. But a lot of the time, the need for a perfect pass isn't there. It's like just get the ball high and then just run.
Yeah.
Kind
And
of
that's
something that kind of
what we preach, like in the gym too, is just like just get it high and off the net. And I mean, all the setters are good enough at that level where they can do something really great with it. And I think even at like Wisconsin, that's something that we talk about too. So
Did you play with Lauren at Wisconsin, or was she gone by the time?
Lauren Carlini,
Yeah.
she so I graduated high school early. And she was still here when I came in. So I came in my second semester of my senior year of high school, just because I want to get like an extra semester of training because the starting middle of that year was graduating. So she was here for that summer. So I did a little bit of training with her, but not a whole lot. But so yeah, we overlapped a little bit.
So I kind of want to talk. I want to kind of bring it back to your last game against Stanford. We both all of us had kind of similar experiences. The national championship, runners up. Not the greatest feeling in the world. Probably one of the. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just not great. So I kind of have a question about your kind of mindset here because I've kind of talked about this with different people. It's like, okay, I always say if you're in the national championship or you make the national championship, a lot of it, how you approach it and how you react about how the game kind of went is from your perspective, right? So let's say if you're like a team, like you guys, Wisconsin, you guys were top 5, top 3 pretty much the entire year. Same with us, Hawaii. And then you go and lose the national championship. And this goes for any big game. I was kind of wondering, okay, I had a lot of people that came up to me after, at least you made it, at least you were there. And that just, there's no worse thing you could say to me for that. And I kind of came in after that game. It's like I know I can think about kind of brutal truth, but I was like, we failed. Like it's like this, like we had a great season. We made a lot of memories, but if you're a top 3 team, you are not in the national championship to be there for fun or experience it. Yes, that's part of the ride, but you're there to win, right? And if you don't win, then I consider that, okay, we failed. Like our whole main goal that's the year, since we were again a top team, was to win, and we didn't do that. So I saw that we failed, and I was wondering if you kind of had a different mindset about that, or just how you kind of took that, I guess.
Yeah. So I think my mindset's honestly a little bit different. Like, in a sense, yes, like I'm kind of the same way. Like, obviously, like we were not there to lose, like we were there to win, and that would have been the first time in program history would have won a national championship. So, pretty big deal. But like for me, I'm definitely someone who gets like joy and like fulfillment from like the journey and like the experience and the people I'm around. Like those are kind of like my top things. So, yeah, I still kind of struggle with that because it's like, like, yes, we won the Big Ten. Like that was one of our goals. And like, we did win that. And then it was like, we got to the national championship and like, our goal is to win that.
Right.
But we were like one step away from that goal.
Right.
So to me, I'm just like, I can't really say that like anything we did was a failure. Like, yeah, we lost that game. It wasn't a pretty game. Like, I mean, it just wasn't. But I think that like there's just a lot to take away from that experience. I mean, we did make it. We had an amazing tournament run. Yeah, it stings a lot that we lost. But I just think that like overall, like I cannot say that like it was a failure of a season, like in any way, shape, or form.
I think I guess I have 2 questions to this. First of all, what was the worst thing that someone said to you after the game that tried to either try and cheer you up or not try and cheer you up? And then 2, what was, I mean, because a lot of people also said like we won our league as well, and like the more I think about it, we kind of had very, very similar paths. Did you feel like, I don't know, like when we won Big West, it was like, okay, we did it, we celebrated, but it was like, okay, we got to focus now kind of thing? Or did you, and I felt part of me, I kind of saw some of our team, I was like, I feel like these guys are kind of maybe taking it in too much. It's like the guys, the season's not over. Like the big tournament's still going on. Did you ever feel that for your team, or was it just kind of like, no, or just everyone?
Like a part where we were just like
like complacent in a way, I guess.
I guess like, so I guess like a turning point, I guess what I would say for us was, so we had 2 games left in the Big Ten. One was at Penn State, one was at Rutgers. We ended up taking the first 2 sets from Penn State, ended up losing in 5. that would have been to be like the outright champions of the Big Ten like that day, like right then and there.
Right.
And like we like honestly like blew it. Like it was a blowout kind of after that second set. So actually two of our seniors like kind of stood up in front of the team and were like, hey, like we still have an opportunity to win this thing, like outright by ourselves. All we have to do is go to Rutgers. Like we've lost nothing yet. Like, yeah, that was not a good performance like at all, but like we haven't lost anything. We still have another game in front of us. Like, and we did end up being the outright champions just because of the other game that night. But like for us, like that was a huge learning experience because I think we were just so close to that moment of like winning the Big Ten at Penn State, which would have been like a big thing. We just kind of let that moment like seep in too early, I think. So like we won the first 2 sets, and I think we just were like, oh my gosh, every pass has to be perfect, every like block has to be stuff like that. And I think we really took that into the tournament and ran with it, just like knowing like, hey, like there's no moment that's like too big for us. Like we can conquer all these moments, and we can be a team that comes together and succeeds in those big moments, and that's what you need to win a national championship. So I think that's how like we ended up going on such a great run in the tournament.
Right.
Hope that answers your question.
No, yeah, for sure. And what was the worst thing that someone said to you after?
There was somebody came up to me and was like, you're gonna beat Baylor like that and then lose like that to Stanford? I looked at him and I was like,
straight to your face. Do you know this person at all or no?
No, random person.
Oh.
He's like, were they really that much better than you? And I was like,
how do you respond to that?
just kicking all down, man. Come on. No, yeah.
That's horrible. I've never had nothing. I've had some pretty bad experiences, but nothing like right after a game or anything like that. That's just brutal.
We had somebody we were playing at BYU who on the men's side, that's like a tough place to play at up in the altitude.
And
they,
girls.
Yeah, girls side too.
Oh, yeah.
And it's rocking up there. And we had some guy, we were playing a tournament, a guy comes up to us before, like one of the fans, and on the out, I don't know if you've been to the Provo gym, but there's a track around the outside of the gym. He and I were standing out there waiting to go out to the vans. We had played like the second night. The next night we were playing BYU for the tournament championship. Mm-hmm. And this random fan walks up to my brother and I was like, hey, I hope you guys go skiing tomorrow. I'm like, probably not. We have a big match tomorrow night, so I don't think we'll be hitting the slopes. And he's like, oh, that's a bummer. I'd love for you guys to just go break your legs tomorrow. like it's
like, I never understand that stuff. Like, come on.
Like, I think he meant for like, I think he was trying to be lighthearted, but it was just so awkward. I was just like, what are you saying? But
not wishing an injury upon athletes, but
some fans are just like so over the top.
Brutal, yeah.
The thing I have to bring up though, we slightly got into a little bit, but all the time, especially on all the teams that I played with at Hawaii, all the jokes always went towards the middle. Is that a similar thing? What is like the funniest thing you've been told about middles? And also, I feel like middles always are trying to back themselves up and defend the brand. It's all they got to defend the brand a little bit.
We got a passing middle here, so.
I don't know if like everything's been like directed towards us, to be honest, but I have like been someone who like takes a lot of pride in not being like middles can't pass, middles can't set, middles can only hit and block sometimes. Like I've like really kind of been like my very first volleyball coach. So I didn't start playing volleyball until I was like 15. I was a huge basketball player, and my coach was like, "Oh, I just go stand in the middle. Like you like, why would we have you do like passing? Why would we have you do something?" like pissed. It like made me mad, and it made me want to like be better at that. So I think that really kind of drove my improvement, honestly, to just like prove those people wrong. But yeah.
What was like the changing point for you, because you played basketball? I think I see this a lot on the men's side specifically too, is that transition from basketball to volleyball. What got you into volleyball? Like, was there one of your friends or?
Yeah, so my best friend, she's still my best friend to this day from my hometown. She was playing volleyball at like this really small club, the club that I first started out playing at. and she was like, hey, do you want to like come play volleyball? And I was like, yeah, sure, like why not? And like years before that, I'm talking like 2 years, like my mom would like heckle me and be like, please go to volleyball tryouts, please go try out, please just like, can you please just try it? And I was like, no, mom, like I'm going to be a basketball player. So like all it took for me was my best friend to say, hey, let's go. And I was like, I'm there. But that was like my first like experience playing volleyball. It was honestly like a really small club, like very local tournaments. Then after that I moved to a bigger, more like kind of national tournament club. And then honestly there was my when was it? I think it was the summer after my freshman year of high school. I went to do like a visit / open gym at a university, University of Illinois. And I just got destroyed. This was for basketball. I just like got absolutely destroyed. Like I was like super skinny, like 6'6" kid at that time. And these women just had like 50 to like 75 pounds on me, and I was just like getting destroyed. And so I like got in the car with my dad, and I was like, Dad, I just don't want to do this anymore. He said, that's a good choice. So like from that day I like switched to volleyball, and like quite honestly, like it, like I would never like change that for the world. Like my body just like was not meant for basketball. Like my body could not take all the pounding and like how physical it was. Like I was super run down, even like as like freshman, sophomore in high school. So yeah, that's kind of my backstory.
But you can still, I bet you could play basketball though at Wisconsin though, yeah? Or I'm sure
yeah.
a lot of coaches.
No, I like, well, before like I kind of figured out like kind of where my path was going to be in volleyball. Like I was like, you know, if worst comes to worst, like I could always like play a 5th year in basketball.
It's true.
That's not going to happen anymore. But going into college, like, oh, that'd be kind of fun. So yeah.
So I'm gonna throw a little hot take at you right here. So we play our women's sports a lot of time, or like for example, we play men's volleyball plays women's soccer, men's volleyball plays women's water polo. Do you think you could beat some of the guys on the Wisconsin men's basketball team? Do you think you could beat them in basketball?
Beat them? Are we talking like one-on-one?
One-on-one. You gotta be like walking down the hall and then just like, oh, I could take that guy for sure.
Do I have some practice time?
Yeah, you have. I'll give you about 2 weeks. I'll give you about 2 weeks of practice.
Oh man, my shot's pretty off. I'm not gonna lie.
How much time would you need?
Of like actual training, probably like, I guess I feel like more than 2 weeks, like max a month.
Yeah.
But like, also like men's basketball is like totally different.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
They're just like so much more physical. But I mean, like I was definitely like a semi 3-point shooter when I got out there. So I don't know.
What's one Olympic sport you wish you could try or wish you would have done when you were younger?
Okay, honestly, this is like super random because I like was one of those spontaneous things I thought would be really fun just to like try. If I did not graduate early from high school, I like really wanted to try water polo.
Oh, I did that. You would be a beast. Okay, and let me tell you this. I played water polo my 8th grade year. My mom is an athletic director at this community college. She's like, hey, she's in communication with the water polo coach, really, and his daughter is a really big water polo player, right? And then so my mom was like, my trying to get my son interested in water polo, and I was like I was pretty in volleyball. She just wanted to try me new things. I was 8th grade at this point. And mom's like, yeah, I got water polo down. I like, you're gonna go, you gotta practice. I'm like, sweet, like let's go. I ride my bike over and I walk in. And I'm the only guy there. It's all girls. And I walk in, and I'm in like this like tight Speedo for the first time. I'm like, this is kind of weird. And all the girls like look at me. They're like, all right, hop in. And I hop in with the girls. And then I go in, and I'm like drowning. There's this one girl. She goes. I'm like, oh, I got her. It's just like backflip. I'm like, what just happened right there? And I'm just getting destroyed by this. I'm like, Mom, you're embarrassing me out there. Why are you putting me in these waters? So I know for a fact, from experience with a lot of experience of women's water polo, I'm sure you'd be very, very good. No doubt about it.
Honestly, like I used to swim when I was little. Like my dad was a huge swimmer, so like I had like swimming background. I was like, it'll be good for my cardio at the very least.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
It would have been one of those things that's like I just like could say I could do, you know, or I did.
It's a nasty sport. I got scratched up. I got beat up.
It's crazy.
I mean,
yeah, just one of those things. but like I think like realistically,
You
like,
definitely could have. You definitely could have gone water polo because Patrick Gassman, who's like 6'10", who's our middle, he's our goalie when we played the water polo, and he's a beast. He's a beast. But
I was like my height would definitely be to my
for
advantage.
sure, and you got height, athleticism, you got the whole mix right there. But
there's one thing here that popped in my mind. We haven't asked this yet on any of our shows, but I'm shocked a lot of the times how many women's volleyball players, like at like some of the biggest schools, have never seen a men's like college volleyball match live. Have you ever seen one live?
Like in person?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I live in Chicago area, obviously. So when there was a men's national championship at Chicago.
Yeah, that's when they won.
I think I was like a freshman or sophomore in high school. I think Loyola won.
Yeah, they did.
I'm not 100% sure who
They did.
Yeah, when they hosted, they did. Yeah,
they played
I watched on TV your guys' match last year.
We wish that wasn't broadcast. That would have been nice.
I watched mine, so it's even.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's like it's one of those things that like honestly, like in the Big Ten, like there's Ohio State and like Penn State that really have men's teams. It's not like a super big thing. And then I mean, I live kind of by like Loyola Chicago and Lewis, so
Right on.
the
one question I have, we're gonna let you off here soon. What is, if you were to pick one collegiate or pro men's volleyball player to be your beach, I don't know if you play beach, or just grass doubles partner, who would that be?
And we're available, just so you know.
I love beach. I'm just not very good at it. I think if I trained for it, I could be good. Oh my gosh, who would it be? Okay, you know what would be kind of like a crazy like duo, I think? Do they have to be like a blocker, defender, or literally anything?
Whatever you want to play with. You can go two blockers.
Is it male or is it male or female?
Male, so co-ed team.
I feel like, I mean, just because like Phil Dahlhauser is like
smart,
my height, I feel like that'd be kind of.
You guys could just go double block. You don't even need a defender.
They would chase down the jump.
That hops at all, but especially in the sand. Ooh, gosh, no. I
feel like that would be a pretty dominant team. I don't think anyone could really. I mean, unless you face. I mean, like you said, you're a good passer. That'll put you to the test right there.
So that's a little bit easier to pass that window.
Yeah, that's true. But
so that means you're gonna be defending, or he's gonna be defending.
Honestly, I defend.
That's what I like to hear right there. Aggressive middle.
I'd be really good for eye work too. Like getting really good at reading.
That's true.
All right, and last question. We know you still got another year, but what countries are you probably gonna be looking at eventually to go play overseas in? Or would you like to play? Just the country itself.
Yeah, I honestly like am super open to like any place. Obviously like Italy has some really, really awesome teams and like their league's really good, so that's probably like on top of my radar. I honestly thought that like I've heard really great things from Japan too.
Yeah.
So I think that would be really cool. I feel like
good money there too.
Yeah, true. I feel like
important.
Brazil, Turkey. I would also love to play in Turkey. So I think those are kind of like the four that I would like have definitely thought about.
I have one last. I know Joe said last question. One last question.
Totally fine.
So you're in Madison, Wisconsin. I, for the first time last year or 2 years ago, tried cheese curds, and I'm in California, and I love them.
Wow, that's amazing.
What is the best place in Wisconsin to go and eat a cheese curd?
Okay, there's a couple.
Taking notes. We're getting this down.
Give me your top three.
So you're talking like fried cheese curds, right?
Oh, of course.
Where did you have these cheese curds? Were they in California?
They're in California, and I loved them there, so I can only imagine what they're like in Wisconsin.
Yeah. So there's like a couple local places here. There's this place called the Old Fashioned in Madison, Wisconsin.
Are they all in Madison?
Yeah, that's like literally right next to the Capitol.
Okay.
Like, their food is fantastic. Honestly, hot take. There's this little bar on like our main kind of street, like our college town street with like all like the shops and the food and stuff like that. It's called State Street Brats. I think their cheese curds are the bomb. I really do. Hot take though, for anyone in Madison.
Okay, last one.
And then I'd say
3.
maybe there's this place called Dottie's Dumpling Dowlery or something like that. It's like next to my apartment, but also Bon Cheese Curds. So those are my top 3.
I've been to have I been in Wisconsin?
You've been to Wisconsin.
I've been to Wisconsin.
The
And
Dells.
if I ever get there soon, I guarantee you I'll be heading over to Madison, eat all 3 of those within one day. But
Bears or Packers fan?
Oh.
I gotta go Bears just by default.
Bears.
My dad, big football fan. I can't say I watch a whole lot of pro football.
All right.
But Bears by default just because I'm from Chicago.
You got it.
Right
You
on.
got it. It's in your blood. Well, Dana, thank you so much for joining us. We've had a lot of fun talking to you on the show. We wish you, hopefully we see the national team, you on the outside or something like that, passing
On the
back there,
beach
or
there
the
for the-
I
center.
don't know about that, but I'll be in the middle for sure.
Well, I wish you best of luck. We'll be kind of keeping up with your season, and hope you guys are staying safe over there. Hopefully eating a lot of cheese curds for me, and we wish you best of luck. Thank you so much, Dana.
Thank you.
Having you guys.
Ooh, that was cool. That was awesome. I got a lot for words. I was like, let's just keep running with it. But that was awesome. That was, like I said, that's our first time. A lot of time, like Joe knows her. I don't know her. That's the first time meeting
I met her last summer. That was our first real indoor national team player, women's side. We've been asked to get one, and we're like, you know what? She's college. You know, you guys like when we bring on college athletes too. She's a little bit of both.
She's
You're
big
like,
time, dude.
perfect.
She's
She's a
so,
stud. She's 3-time first-team All-American. Has a chance to go 4-time.
she
Not
will,
many people
definitely.
do that.
She could be. I think she's gonna win National Player of the Year. I'm putting it down right here.
Put
Put it down
her
right here.
on out of system.
So
National
no-
Player of the Year.
Dana, if you're listening, no pressure whatsoever.
Put her on the outside, coach.
That's what I did. Yeah, put her on the
Sheffield,
right. Put her on the
Coach
right
Sheffield
side.
is there, yeah.
Unless
Put her
she's
on
a
the
good,
outside. You heard her. She wants to play outside.
unless she's a good
And
pass.
set. Run a 6'2".
That's true. That's a problem with having like your best player be middle.
And the
that's-
other
that's-
thing is, I don't know if you guys heard, but I don't know if Gabe, did you talk about that Charlie wants you to play outside this year?
No, I haven't actually. So we're gonna probably run a 6-2, a weird kind of thing. I'll play right side, outside, and set. I actually, Joe, when you left, there were like 3 or 4 people that came up to me. They're like, "You gonna play setter, right?" I'm like,
Next setter, baby.
I feel like I did a pretty decent job at libero, so I'm just gonna keep it right there.
I will say though, our parents should have trained us opposite. They should have trained me as a lefty, him as the righty. Lefty setter
That's
would have
true.
been
And I got a little more height,
a little bit.
so I was like,
It's all about the springs though, baby.
"That's true." Joe has way more strength than I do. Joe jumps higher. I'm taller, but in the end, he wins because he was way higher than I do. I one time ate 2 cheeseburgers before my vertical jump as a part of the libero diet. I maxed out at about 3 feet. No, I got pretty low though. In all seriousness, it was pretty low. But as a libero, that's the beauty of it. As a libero, you don't even have to get that high.
I also got to respect, go back to Dana, you got to respect the middles who have ball control.
That's
Those
true.
are, and to be honest, any of the top middles in the world, they have ball control. They're all able to pass
Yeah, that's true.
balls. They're all able to set pretty decently. You got to be, if you're going to be one of the top middles international, you got to be able to do that. So
I feel like they don't practice that
Makes
until like, well, they got to make sure the middle has ball, is able to, but they don't really practice it to get like the national team gym or like
Yeah.
high up in the college.
because
ranks.
when you're like club coaches a lot, they like to pigeonhole players and they're going to tell them, all right, middles, you're going to
Yeah,
go block and hit.
But you gotta understand that a lot of the time, no offense or anything, but a lot of time they put the middles. They're usually the most kind of like tallest, not the most athletic.
Lankiest,
Exactly,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So I mean, they just kind of want to stay out of the way and just try and hit and block the ball. So it makes sense. It makes sense. It's a tricky subject. I don't know, but then you get a specimen like Dana out there who's got the whole package. I mean, then you can. That's when we just kind of let her roam and let her kind of do her thing here. But this has been awesome. This has been great. Getting the first female national player on here. We're pumped. That was awesome. She's awesome. She's for the boys, as they say. Well, we had a lot of time. We had a lot of fun filming this, and like I said, guys, there's more to come. It's not just gonna be the podcast, so make sure you guys stay tuned here. And this has been another episode of Out System.